Does anybody want to link just the Q&A of the press conference today that Trump did? Or see, there's like some clips of it, but I don't know how worth it is to watch the whole thing.
Just in there because we're nice people. We're just in there because we're nice people, and we are nice people, but we're using a lot of pressure.
What concessions, Mr. President, and to your national security team, what concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, stopping taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
Wow.
We're just in there because we're nice people, and we are nice people, but we're using a lot of pressure.
What concessions, Mr. President, and to your national security team, what concessions?
Oh no. Hilarious development from this incompetent administration. In the lawsuit over congestion pricing with New York City, they accidentally submitted an internal memo to the court that said they had no case. In response, they decided to remove the lawyers on the case and accuse them of being saboteurs. I really don't like Twitter's punishing you for linking externally to the website. I don't like that it rewards... Like, I understand Richard's posting like this because his tweets get deprioritized if you link something, but it's so fucking annoying that people just don't link shit now. And I know you fucking retards in chat are already... I mean, you can reply to your tweet and put a link in the second reply, but, like, it's... Obviously, not everybody does it. It's just people don't... It's just annoying. The U.S. Department of Transportation on Thursday said it took the extraordinary step of replacing the federal lawyers defending it in a lawsuit over New York City's congestion pricing program after accusing them of undermining the department's bid to end the toll. The move came after the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, which had been handling the case, said it mistakenly filed in federal court on Wednesday night a confidential memo that questioned the department's legal strategy and urged a new approach. In response, however, the department raised the possibility that the disclosure attempted to sabotage its efforts to halt congestion pricing. Transportation officials said that they would transfer the case to the Civil Division of the Justice Department in Washington. The memo has since been removed from the public docket. RIP. In the letter, dated April 11th, the three assistant U.S. attorneys on the case warned that Sean Duffy... I don't know. The 11-page letter instead suggested that the department could build a stronger case if it sought to terminate the federal government's approval of the tolling program. It's a matter of change in agency priorities rather than stick with the previous tactic of question legality of the toll. RIP. Okay. Shapiro and Zelensky spoke, supposedly. To be fair, Catturd retarded ask is complaining about engagement being down. Timing this with the poor performance of Tesla and greater public ire, I believe there's a fair correlation to bots no longer being paid to promote MAGA slob as much. Yeah, could be.
Well, folks, a big question I've been getting since we released the trailer for my interview with President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine is, why go to a nation under fire? Why take your crew and take that risk? And the answer is simple, because the truth matters and facts matter. We want you to be smarter and know more things. That's what this show is for. You, our Daily Wire members, deserve the truth. This is the kind of journalism your support makes possible. This is the community that fights for your values. Join us right now at dailywire.com/subscribe. So, last night, Vladimir Putin's Russia blanketed Ukraine with missiles.
Yeah, that tweet was really pathetic, where he's like, it's not even worth the 12 to 15 hours a day I put it on this platform. Oh my God.
And drones in what was perhaps the largest scale air attack on the country since 2022. One missile apparently now struck an apartment building in Kyiv and killed 9 people and wounded another 63. This, of course, is a war zone. A little bit earlier yesterday, the Trump administration rolled out its proposed outline for a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. This was being negotiated in London. It's a peace deal under which Ukraine would have been forced to accept Russian annexation of Crimea. That's the very southern portion of Ukraine that is on the Black Sea, as well as control of eastern Ukraine. Russia is currently in control of large swaths of eastern Ukraine and has been since 2014. It would have removed NATO membership from the table for Ukraine. Ukraine obviously is interested in joining NATO because that would mean that an attack on a NATO member would allow for Article 5 invocation, meaning other countries would have to come to Ukraine's defense. The deal would prevent Ukraine from becoming a NATO member. It would have provided little or nothing in the way of security guarantees for Ukraine. So the proposed Trump deal did not obligate the United States to come to Ukraine's defense or even allow for the EU's defense.
The last 3 or 4 weeks, the algorithm has been so bad on X, it's hard to justify putting 12 to 15 hours a day on here and busting your ass when you just get throttled to hell and back for no reason. I've talked to hundreds of large account creators, and it's the same for all of them. None of them understand this insane strategy. It makes no sense throttling the hell out of everyone when X should want their advertisers getting as many views as possible. I just don't get it. I know everyone understands what I'm talking about because it's happening to everyone.
Defense of Ukraine. Maybe they could have, maybe they couldn't have, but that was unclear. And it also would have full-scale ended sanctions on Russia. So clearly this peace deal It gave Russia a bunch of things that Russia was looking for if it had been accepted by Ukraine. Russia has not accepted a peace arrangement along any of these lines. We should be clear about this. Essentially, the proposal that was published was the United States, Europe, and maybe Ukraine kind of negotiating against themselves because there's no one else at the table right now. Now, Zelensky rejected handing over Crimea legally because that would be making a major legal concession without actually getting anything from Russia in return. If you preemptively say Crimea is now part of Russia, you've now said it, and Zelensky doesn't want to do that. He has accepted the Trump proposal for a 30-day ceasefire without any preconditions. That has been true for weeks. Vladimir Putin has not for 1 second, which is why last night the Russian missiles were falling on Kyiv. They're also falling on Lviv, which is in the western part of the country. It was a bad night in Ukraine. Now, Putin, again, has at no point actually given any sign that he truly wants the war to end. If you want the war to end, the question is, will Zelensky accept an end to the war, and will Putin accept an end to the war? Zelensky has said he will. Putin has given no sign whatsoever that he actually will. Instead, it seems like he's slow playing this thing. He seems to be biding his time, waiting for the United States to pull out of negotiations and out of funding Ukraine entirely. And that's a bet that could pay off, given the Trump administration's repeated statements that if no deal is accepted, the United States will simply walk away from the table. Here was Vice President J.D. Vance saying just that yesterday.
Well, I'm going to echo something Secretary Rubio said, which is, look, we've issued a very explicit proposal to both the Russians and the Ukrainians, and it's time for them to either say yes or for the United States to walk away from this process. We've engaged in an extraordinary amount of diplomacy, of on-the-ground work. We've really tried to understand things from the perspective of both the Ukrainians and the Russians. What do Ukrainians care the most about? What do the Russians care the most about? And I think that we've put together a very fair proposal.
Okay, well, whether the proposal is fair or not, if Russia refuses to accept the deal and then the United States walks away, Russia is the party that actually benefits from that. The Trump administration's pressure right now has been almost solely relegated to Ukraine at this point. That's just the reality. President Trump unleashed a post on Truth Social yesterday attacking Vladimir Zelensky and blaming him for the continuation of the war. He stated, quote, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is posting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There's nothing to talk about here. This statement, says President Trump, is very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia, and that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of President Barack Hussein Obama and is not even a point of discussion. Nobody's asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory. But if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? Well, if that's true, then nobody's asking for Zelensky to actually recognize Crimea as Russian territory. What's the discussion that's happening? President Trump continues, the area also houses, for many years before the Obama handover, major Russian submarine bases. It's inflammatory statements like Zelensky's that make it so difficult to settle this war. He has nothing to boast about. The situation for Ukraine is dire. We can have peace, or he can fight for another 3 years before losing the whole country. I have nothing to do with Russia, but have much to do with wanting to save, on average, 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. The statement made by Zelensky today will do nothing but prolong the killing field, and nobody wants that. We're very close to a deal, but the man with no cards to play should now finally get it done. I look forward to being able to help Ukraine and Russia get out of this complete and total mess. Again, this is President Trump saying this. That would have never started if I were president. Unquote. Now listen, President Trump's frustration is...
How long is this interview with Zelensky? Was it just like 30 minutes or something? Or I thought the majority of this, well, I guess the majority of the video is, but he's talking for so much. What the fuck?
It's clear and understandable. But let's be also clear about this. For this conflict to end, Russia has to come to the table. Why is the question what Ukraine is willing to do, when the real question here is why Russian aggression has not stopped for a single moment for 3 years? The American people, obviously, we need to understand just why it is important for Ukraine not to collapse amidst the escalation of Russia's invasion. So, with the Russia-Ukraine war now in year number 3, with tens of thousands of dead on each side and hundreds of thousands wounded, probably 50,000 dead on the Ukrainian side, maybe 200,000 dead on the Russian side, with eastern Ukraine and Crimea currently in Russian hands. Now, with the Trump administration obviously trying to end the war through negotiation, we felt that now is a vital time to actually travel to Ukraine to discuss this crisis with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky.
Wow.
The American people have a lot of questions, and they have a right to know why they should care about this conflict in a faraway place and to have their questions answered on matters ranging from how their tax dollars are being spent to the treatment of Christians in Ukraine, from the nature of Russia's aspirations in Ukraine to the Ukrainian desire to remain free of Russian domination. So, the trip into Ukraine wasn't exactly easy. It's, of course, a war zone. First, we traveled some 12 hours from Florida to Krakow, that's Poland, and then we took a 10-hour car ride with security from Poland to Kyiv. The border crossing was pretty much deserted. Not a lot of people are trying to get into Ukraine at this point in time. The country itself, it's a beautiful country. The breadbasket of the continent.
The biochemical lefty. Just wanted to appreciate you for a second. You broke me out of my inability to read long documents or longer documents to build an understanding of a topic and draw my passion for politics and how important they are. Thanks for all the work you do. Wow, thanks, buddy.
Western Ukraine, which is what you drive through to get to Kyiv, is rolling farmland dotted with forest. My great-great-grandparents came originally from this general region, Belarus, Poland, Ukraine. I tried to see it through their eyes we were driving. What it must have been like 150 years ago, before the carnage of the Ukrainian Holodomor, which is the Stalin-created genocidal starvation campaign against Ukrainian farmers and their families, and against those who opposed the evil of Soviet collectivization. And what it was like before the Nazi invasion in 1941 and the mass slaughter of Jews, with roving bands of SS mowing down tens of thousands of Jews over open pits in Babi Yar, shipping Jews via train to death camps all over Europe. Timothy Snyder, historian and author of a book called Bloodlands, Europe Between Hitler and Stalin, writes, quote, during the years that both Stalin and Hitler were in power, more people were killed in Ukraine than anywhere else in the Bloodlands or in Europe or in the world. For both Hitler and Stalin, Ukraine was more than a source of food. It was the place that would enable them to break the rules of traditional economics, rescue their countries from poverty and isolation, and remake the continent in their own image. If you know history, The voices of all of our brothers' blood cries out from the ground of Ukraine. And the history of Ukraine's suffering doesn't stop with World War II. After the war, the Soviet Union again was in control of Ukraine. Its history was then steamrolled and homogenized to fit Soviet presumptions. After the Cold War, after the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine broke free. It became independent. It gave up its nuclear weapons in exchange for security guarantees from the West. Didn't go well for Ukraine, obviously.
Though we're not security guarantees, just to be clear on that, but they kind of were. They were like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of, but...
Torn between the attraction of joining the post-Soviet West and Russian pressure from the East, the country was governed by a series of corruption-ridden governments, culminating in the victory of Viktor Yanukovych, whose pro-Russian swing led to the so-called Maidan Revolution of 2014. Yanukovych was ousted. Vladimir Putin, dictator of Russia, seeing Ukraine slipping out of his grasp, then launched invasions of the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine, as well as Crimea. Both of those were largely Russian-speaking areas that favored a closer relationship with Russia, but they didn't actually want to be fully ruled by Russia, by the polling data available at the time. Instead, Putin brought in what were called little green men, who he said were sort of domestic insurgents, they were actually Russian soldiers, to take over those areas. Citizens of those areas were brought under Russian control. And then came 2022. Sensing weakness from the American-led North Atlantic Treaty Organization in the aftermath of Joe Biden's surrender of Afghanistan to the Taliban, Putin launched a full-scale invasion of the rest of Ukraine. When the war began, few expected Ukraine to survive. Indeed, the first Russian push into Ukraine came within 10 or 12 kilometers of Kyiv, the capital city, which is located on both sides of the Dnieper River. Actually, Vladimir Zelensky was made offers by the Europeans to flee the country. But Ukraine instead fought suspicious activity.
We're good.
Meeting that you had. President Zelensky, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thanks for coming, Ben.
So I want to start by asking you about the meeting that you had in the Oval Office with the president and the vice president. This is almost a couple of months ago. Obviously, things went sideways. How do you feel that you could have handled things better with the president and vice president?
I wonder how edited this is. That's really his very first question? Jeez, that's kind of rough, but okay.
After this meeting, our teams had had plenty of meetings. Well, not enough of meetings to put an end to this war, but still there were positive meetings. There were meetings that were fruitful, and our teams have agreed that everyone will support the complete ceasefire mode, and that was a meeting in Saudi Arabia. Then there was another meeting, then it was a meeting in France. Tomorrow, by the way, there will be a meeting in London. So as you can see, that what's important to us is the teams of Ukraine and the United States, plus our European colleagues. That is, our team has started to work together with the United States, and I can see some positive things about this. I'm grateful to all the partners, and I'm grateful to President Trump for this, as well as to Keir Starmer and to the Emmanuel Macron and to all the leaders who constantly support this very beginning, the complete ceasefire. It's the beginning of the path towards the stable and hopefully fair and just peace. And that is why I think we do have good meetings right now, and I would say good possibilities. Now the question is Russia, and that is the only element in this construct that is not yet ready to put an end to this war, and we hope on the strengths of the United States, on the strengths in terms of the sanctions, on the experience of the United States, and the influence that the United States has on Russia. So for the Russia to agree to put an end to this war, it depends on them. As for our meeting in the Oval Office, I kept saying that we needed this meeting. We had to talk over a variety of elements. We had different meetings, fruitful and more philosophic meetings, I would say, on different stages of our life, and the meeting with President Trump as well. So I think that the meeting in the Oval Office, it did not help Ukraine, it did not help to the United States, and no, and I think we should, when Ukraine and the United States are having the meeting.
This translator, is this live translated? They couldn't just sit down and write a script out for it, or were they trying to get this out ASAP? Whatever. Also, wait, real quick question: do you just set up artillery turrets at the edge of this and then bomb shit and then have robots deliver ammo, or do you actually set up artillery train wagons? Setting up the artillery wagon seems cringe as fuck.
I think we should, when Ukraine and the United States are having the meeting, we should give light to people. We should demonstrate this path that I've already mentioned, to a path towards the end of this war. We count on the strategic partnership, and we always respected the people of the United States and the choice of the United States and the support coming from the United States. And that is why I think that we will have more fruitful meetings with President Trump. But you have to understand, Ukraine, that we are defending against the Russia's offense. And we believe Russia is an enemy. We believe United States as a true and real friend. We know that the United States has a position to serve as the mediator in this conflict. That is the choice made by the United States. But we consider the United States as a strong strategic partner with an influence. And we would really like to have these two strengths that would be used towards Russia, so that the force would be towards the Russia, because they're the one who's the aggressor. And we would like really to have this common understanding that Russia is the aggressor, not we. And we really want the United States not to search for the balance in these words. I understand what President Trump is willing to have. I highly respect the fact that he's searching for an approach. That's his approach. Somebody might have different approach, but you shouldn't be saying that Ukraine and Russia started this war. I believe that it's painful for our people to hear, and this is why we respond in this way. We're talking about the dignity of our country. We have demonstrated that we are ready to protect our dignity in any situation. I'm doing that as the president. We have clearly demonstrated that in the beginning of the war. It was the war. It still remains the war. We have only one enemy, Russia and Putin. And that is why, even if we're talking a diplomatic environment, everything that is related to the Ukraine's dignity, I will always defend it. This is my job. I'm the president. I'm the guarantor of the Constitution of Ukraine.
So, Mr. President, there are a lot of questions
worth
in the United
having
States about
epic
how American
artilleries?
funding is spent. So we've spent nearly
not.
allocated nearly $200 billion to the defense of Ukraine. There are lots of questions about where the money is going, to pensions, to war profiteering, to corruption. How do you answer those questions? What kind of transparency can you provide to the American people to guarantee that their taxpayer dollars are being used in the best possible way to fight Russia, to defend Ukraine, and to ensure that if the United States wants, would an audit be possible by the United States of where those dollars are going?
Oh my God.
Yes, let me start with the end of your question. As for the audit, the United States have to understand there's United States inspectors working. There's the inspectors of European countries, because they've also allocated the money, and we are also grateful to them. Just as to the United States, we highly respect the support and assistance coming from the people of the United States as well as the people of Europe. That is why we have told at once that we are ready to have any inspections from the very beginning of the war. The inspectors coming from the United States, Europe, and our own inspectors, they're working. We have complete reporting, counting, absolutely transparent within the Ministry of Defense. There's access to all the figures starting from the very first year of the war. There's been always an access. When we've seen in the very beginning of the war that Russia attempted to undermine the support and assistance coming from the United States, because the United States was the main donor, and they wanted to undermine this through fake news, through other tools. That is why we told it once that we are open, send the inspectors, and they were inspectors. So as for the audit, we're always ready to any audit. There's nothing to hide. We're absolutely open, transparent, and that is what's happening. There's all the reports available. The second aspect, I never wanted to, I was grateful to all the U.S. taxpayers. I understand that the United States have different programs, directions, and that is also related to the weapons support and to the assistance of other countries of the world. I want to be absolutely frank. That's with regards to the audit. I have my own internal audit, and I clearly understand how much assistance coming from which country at which moment was provided to Ukraine. I'm not responding fully to saying that United States has transferred something around 200 billion. I'm responding to the facts. The United States could be
Sounds like a fucking hostage.
registering that, could be voting, and we are grateful to the bipartisan support in the Congress, because we are grateful to this unity around the fight of Ukraine for the independence and your great assistance and the great contribution of the United States in the defense of our people. But I have my own internal audit, and my country is clearly documenting how many assistance was provided. Just for you to know, we had 105 billion US dollars. Most of those money were in the form of weapons. Now, that's first thing. All of those weapons came. The money were paid to the transportation of those weapons. Ukrainian companies were not allowed to transport this money. That's why we haven't received, not in the public, not in the private sector, the money for the transportation. There were different assistance programs, the training of Ukrainian soldiers abroad. There's many things. I'm documenting and registering what we have. I understand there could be different calculations, different assistance programs or aid programs, but this is like an audit, really. You are verifying what was the output, so to say, and we kind of verify what was the input. We verify this because we need to, keep the phase in our relations with the key strategic partner. It's very important. It's not that we're arguing that United States have said that we're giving you 200 and Ukraine is saying, no, it's 100. No, it's not an arguing. It's not a dispute, but it's important that both countries and the taxpayers, they should know where their money are. So that's it. And I kept saying all the time, it's not that I'm not, properly responding to 200, 300, 400. No. I'm responding to what was the input, so to say, how many money came to Ukraine. Now, in terms of the use of those money, primarily that was for the weapons they were used on the battlefield. And the audit that I've mentioned clearly documented that whether this weapon was used on the battlefield or in accordance to some of the information been posted on the media, primarily that were the Russian narratives that some of the weapons were sent elsewhere, or there was some corruption related to this weapon, something was sold. No. All the audit that took place, not a single time has found any fact of sales of U.S. weapons to somewhere abroad. So there were no information like that in any of the audit. Then, secondly, the funding, they support the different social programs. That was different social programs, but the salary that we pay to our soldiers, the pensions that we pay to our pensioners, and we have 11.5 million pensioners. So the salaries and the pensions, these are only paid from the Ukrainian budget, this only by the Ukrainian money, not because we didn't need the kind of financial support or the support to the people. There were different aspects, infrastructural aspects, etc. We needed all of that, and we are grateful to all that. But the United States have to know that they were not feeding our pensioners and our soldiers with regards to the salary.
This audio is giving me schizophrenia. Yeah, Jesus.
Or the compensation. Surely you've provided the most important aspect, that is the weapons we needed to defend. Now, those things are very important. Now, the special programs or separate programs, and we have the clear figures behind those. When the United States were paying money for the development of a certain direction in the technological kind of development, like in new drones, and there were direct funding either in the private sector that was constructing the drones like that. What the United States have received, well, the exchange of information. The United States, without the war, would never have received the knowledge. I'm not saying that war is good. That's horrible. But whenever we're saying what the United States have received, for example, when there were some programs, when the United States have funded the weapons and they were transferring the Patriots to us, and we are grateful to the United States, first of all, for this. They know that all the air defense systems that we had, different shells, there's artillery shells, even 155 shells could be different, the HIMARS, etc. All the Ukraine have been using. Ukraine provided the reports to the United States, and Ukraine has improved many of the elements and specifications by our engineers, by our people on the ground. They've improved the specifications of the weapons. The United States have received a true report based on the largest land war in many years. So now the United States know where to invest the money, where not to invest the money. I know those conclusions, but this is not public information. But the United States have received this knowledge, this data, and this knowledge could not be acquired without the live operations. Then the United States have provided money to the development of different drones. Surely it's all about our special forces, recon, intelligence, security service of Ukraine, foreign intelligence. These are the separate money. They are part of those 105 billion. So this is where the scientists were working, the recon, the intelligence, the military engineers were working. Now, what the United States have received, when the United States have paid for those developments, the United States have received complete and open information on the drones. This is the new weapons that was not available to the United States, to Europe, and surely we didn't have it. Now, the United States have received all this experience, all this know-how and developments. Now, I'm not willing to say that it's a cheap price for all of those developments. We are grateful to every single cent paid by the United States, but this is the fair price, so to say. The knowledge, the experience, that the whole world is based on the knowledge, and I believe that this is what the United States have received. Then how are medics being operating on the battlefield? Everyone knows about this. There's medical points or medical stations close to the battlefield where the military surgeries have been taking place. There's medical assistance of different sort that has been provided. Now, all this knowledge, all this experience were transferred to our partners. They've seen that they could make conclusions. The support to the people, the United States, together with the Europeans, have provided the support to the people, and I can give you the conclusions. You can compare the number of killed and the number of casualties. Now, I'm not comparing the Russian army with the Ukrainian army, but look at the portion of the wounded in action and killed in action, we have the portion of the wounded in action the lowest. If we have 1 to 10, that is 1 killed, you have 10 wounded in action. Now, in case of Russians, in case of 10 casualties, there will be 5 wounded in action, 5 killed in action, or 6 by 4. So we're saying that's a different level of medical support, and that knowledge was also provided to our partners. Now, what exactly the United States have received as well. This is the most important thing that I have not mentioned yet. Let's be frank. The people in the world, they believe that we are living kind of fence against the Russia's invasion to the civilized world, including the NATO member nations. And we are kind of a living shield. We are defending this. So if Putin will come to the NATO member countries, or when he will do that, I don't believe that I know everything in advance, but let's just imagine, because everyone see who they have case with, so Putin might go to the European countries. Now, in this case, there would be a need to defend the European nations or to leave the NATO. I'm not saying whether the United States should be doing that or not. That's the choice made by the people of the United States and other allies, but this is a question that will definitely be on the agenda. So as long as Russians are not in any single NATO member nation, your families are not facing with this question. So there will be a major question for your families, either to send your child to the war or not, to the other country, to some foreign country. So that's the kind of question. Now, the cost of the United States not searching, and the families are not searching for an answer to this complicated question of whether to send their son or daughter, whether they will return home, like and alive or wounded. Nobody knows the cost of that question.
I'm from Sri Lanka. From my journalism experience, we have a term called spirit of meeting. Does Americans not use the same idea? Yeah, we do. We say the same thing. What's in the spirit of this? Yeah.
Whether the United States is the kind of the most the richest economy in the world, whether this is the biggest amount paid for what's been provided. I'm not saying that's a small amount. I'm saying that this is the fair. This is fair. It's fair that the United States
I didn't mean to
assisted, supported Ukraine, and Ukraine gave away a lot in return for that support and assistance. And of course, the most precious thing we have is the life of our people.
So I want to get to Russia's intentions in a moment and the possibilities of a ceasefire. But Americans have questions about things that are happening here. So there have been a lot of accusations that there's been a crackdown on religious freedom in Ukraine, particularly with regard to the Russian Orthodox Church. I just watched you perform a meeting with the all-church meeting with members of a wide variety of faiths. Maybe you can respond to the accusations that there's a restriction on religious freedom with regard to Russian Orthodox in Ukraine.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy that you're here, that you had a chance to take a look. And really, we have a meeting like that a couple of times per year, and I truly visit some of the churchill sites. And during the Easter, there's the Eastern meetings and the Passover, and we have a meeting with all of our religious institutions. And I believe that what Ukraine has, and that is the largest council of churches, the largest in Europe. All of our churches are united, different religious, and everyone is united. So we are considering the question. There is the problem in military chaplains, the mobilization of pastors or not, or priests. There's different questions. We help one another. We believe that the religious actors, if they're on the front line, it could be only through their will voluntarily, and they should be supporting military. Now, if those religious actors, if they're willing to do that, we are kind of considering every single question. We do not believe that these are the major challenges because we are having meetings. And if you have a regular meeting, so if you have a regular dialogue, then all the big challenges, they kind of remain, but only small ones. And in many cases, we solve those challenges, but they're not catastrophic. They're not tragic for the country and for the religious unity that we have in Ukraine. And we are openly doing that. Now, they advocate what you've heard, like abroad. They have one single voice, different faith, but single voice. Nobody's pressing anyone. So today, Sviatoslav went to prepare to. He went to Rome, and there's all those ceremonies around the Pope Francis. So Sviatoslav went there. Went to Rome. He needs that's correct, and I'm also planning together with my wife to have a visit. We'll have several meetings around the same dates. Now, as for the pressure, there's no pressure, and you will never hear about anything about the pressure because we don't have any additional dialogues with our religious institutions or religious leaders. There's no shadow practices. We're absolutely open, transparent. There could be cameras or no cameras. We're absolutely open. Everyone can tell you there's no pressure that's non-existent. And every holidays we are together. We have people from different religions, and we're always inviting everyone. That's important. As for the Moscow Church, look, the question is not about the Moscow Church. The question is that in case of Russia, Moscow is just another agency of the KGB. Everyone knows that Russia's special services are in control of the churches. Well, this is how they have. That's their choice. And their people either support that or not. Well, that's their choice. That's their right. And we've never raised this question before the war and during the war. But that's a fact, that their special services are in control of the church. The problem was that their special forces was in control of the churches in Ukraine. That's not the truth. The church should be equal, and the Moscow could not be in control of our church. Their KGB, their intelligence could not be in control or could not be managing the Ukrainian church. Well, they shouldn't be here. So the legislative changes in Ukraine are related to the fact that there could be no connection in between of the Moscow and the church. Nobody closed anything or anyone, but it can't be the case that Russia's KGB is in control of the church in Ukraine. Everyone is against this legal ties. So it's not only about the ties at the level of intelligence. There was a legal connection, legal ties for many years, but that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't be having disputes or controversies around whose church is older than the others. And Ukraine is not shouldn't be speaking about this. Look, we're sitting here close to the Sofia Cathedral. Sofia is older than Russia's capital city and any churches they have.
This retarded translation is 100% intentional by the Daily Wire to make Zelensky look bad. I mean, like, I don't know anything about live translating. Right? I don't know anything about translating anything, period. So I could be wrong. But my guess is going to be, this guy sounds like a person who does live translations. So especially for like news broadcasts, you would have a guy like this translating live, like what Ben Shapiro's listening in on his earpiece is probably this, is my guess. But if you're going to do like prepared content, if you're going to release a video afterwards, then that would be a professional translation that's maybe even the same guy could do it, but it would be somebody who listens to the full thing, has opportunity to write down a script for it and then read it off so that the translation is less hectic sounding. This almost sounds live to me, which I don't know why you would publish a YouTube video like that, but
this building is older than that. That's the answer. We shouldn't have any disputes. We have scientific evidences. We're just saying that our church should be free from any authorities. It's free for the people.
So one of the other questions that's been asked is about military mobilization. So, obviously you're in the middle of a war. At the same time, there have been reports online that people are being picked up off the streets in places in eastern Ukraine and recruited into services. How do you respond to accusations and videos like that?
Look,
and videos.
Every single case is scrutinized by the land forces, by the Ministry of Defense. They're the one responsible for the mobilization. And it can have a different attitude towards mobilization, but we have this mobilization from the beginning of the war. It's in accordance to the legislation, in accordance to the martial law period. So the country is in a war. That is why we do have mobilization. We want the war to end. We want everything to end. We want to have a fair peace, calmness, and there would be nothing, not the mobilization, not the martial law. But as long as the war, as long as we have the law, there is the mobilization. That is why there were different aspects, like someone suggested money, someone took money for going or not going to the army. There's different approaches, or there are different cases, but we shouldn't be saying that this is the major phase or the main thing that describes Ukraine today. No, Ukraine has 800,000 right now, or 600,000 people who volunteered to go to the army. That was the law on mobilization, but the people were volunteering to go and defend Ukraine. Definitely, there's different people, and I think there's different people in every country, and the law enforcement personnel should be making sure that everything would be transparent. There would be no coercion or something. There are some kind of disadvantages. That's a fact. We shouldn't be hiding that like a corruption. But if we have any anti-corruption bodies, there's the security service of Ukraine is. If we're fighting with this on an everyday basis, well, of course you can hide it, like everything as in case of Russia or some European countries. But Ukraine clearly shows that it is fighting on a constant basis against aspects like that. But those are kind of singular cases. This is not massive. That's more important, and that should be reducing on a daily basis. We're doing that.
As we mentioned, we left Kyiv on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, Kyiv was hit with one of the biggest missile barrages of the war. We've been checking in on many of the people we met in Ukraine to ensure that they are safe. We'll bring you any updates. That was part one of our interview with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on Tuesday afternoon.
Jesus.
Part two will continue on tomorrow's show. We'll get some more on this in a moment. First, according to a recent ZipRecruiter survey, 76% of employers...
Okay, that was a little hectic. Pisco's talking to Richard Hanania. I don't know if anything comes out of that. That's good. I guess you can let me know.
People who'll look at you and they'll say,
Oh yeah, linking that xQc debate. We need to watch that.
what do you stand for, Megyn Kelly, especially now because of your support for the president? You endorsed him. You showed up at the rally. I think it was the night before election. Made sure to encourage everybody to vote for him. You said you're voting for him, et cetera, et cetera. And we all know how he treated you back in 2015 when you were at Fox with the Republican primary debate and what have you. And he felt that your question was nasty because you brought up quotes that he had said about women in the past, calling them pigs, amongst other things. Ooh. And all of a sudden he goes on the air and said that you were bleeding out of your eyes or wherever it was or whatever. There are people that still look at you to this very day and say, how could you support somebody that would talk about you that way? This sudden, not sudden shift, but this dramatic shift that you had. What about you? What do you stand for and where do you stand on at this particular moment in time, and why is that the case? What do you say to people who ask those questions about you at this particular moment in time?
I think they're totally fair. And I appreciate you changing it from sudden shift to dramatic, because it really wasn't sudden. Yes. It was a slow climb between Trump and yours truly. When he was attacking me for that 9-month period, I really was not his fan. And I wasn't, really gearing up to vote for Trump because he was staying on me like a dog with a bone. And it was highly unpleasant. But over time, I was able, and I'm actually proud of it, I was able to check my personal feelings about the guy and start getting back to what needs to be my focus as a journalist, which is the professional relationship with the guy, the professional Trump. And what I saw was somebody who governed in a way that I very much respected. There were a couple of key moments in Trump 1.0 where I really did like the double head take at him, like, oh my God, look what he's doing. Like when he stood by Brett Kavanaugh, among other things. And I really respected it and saw him in a new light. And then we got Joe Biden. And I mean, it was such a disastrous 4 years. I probably would have run open-armed into the arms of any Republican, but Trump is just the anti-Biden in so many ways.
True.
It was just tailor-made for this moment to take him down and to take the reins of the country back and to take the country back itself. So I really, I don't know how to say this in a way that, isn't weird, but professionally, I fell in love with Trump, the president, because I believed him that he would close the border. I believed him that he would fight back against the gender madness, which has become a very big issue for me for many reasons. I believed him that he was going to try to get DEI out of our colleges and our woke schools, and that he would push back on this, like, truly, not to sound like Tipper Gore, but smut that's being peddled to our K-5 schools in the name of like health ed or whatever they're calling it. But it's absolutely disgusting. Like the sex acts that show up in elementary school libraries, all that stuff. Trump's not having any of that. I believe that he would lower our taxes. I believe that he would be against forever wars. I still believe all those things. I believe he would roll back regulations so that we could get the economy fired up again. I don't believe in the climate extremists and their stupid fake models that already had us underwater by this point in time, and yet we're fine. So I believed in Trump, and I do believe in Trump, and he's doing all the things he said he would do. Now they're throwing up obstacles in his way, but I'm 100% rooting for him. So if anything, I'm just thrilled that I saw the light on him and that I was able to like push my own feelings to the side and get past that. And he got past his negative feelings about me.
This sounds like
such
a cult
that I could stand up for him before the election and hopefully convince some people.
Absolutely. Sounds like a fucking cult member. Good one, Megyn Kelly.
You think about people who will look at.
Okay, where's my xQc debate? $5:15:01.
Okay, chat. Kill.com, chat. Guys, kill.com chat is currently live at kick.com/HC. Kill.com/HC chat. Rip You're shut down. Came out of the woodwork with an argument. I applaud you for that. That's nice to have an argument. And your first argument is vandalism is not violence, which is objectively, absolutely incorrect in every way you could even approach this. There's not even an angle at which you're correct about this. This is.
You think I'm going to agree with Persec coming in here with that argument? It's vandalism, not violence. Does violence, what violence only applies to people, I guess? Okay, maybe. Wait, I just turned my... Fuck. Never mind. I'm getting cold. Would you consider violence against property? Well, now I'm thinking about it, actually. They committed great acts of violence. What did they do? Violence. You know what, actually? I'll 50-50 on that. Because I think when somebody says violence, intuitively, I do think of harm to people. I don't necessarily think of, like, vandalism, but...
This is wrong on every facet. I don't know how you could even think that this is a correct thought. Your refusal to.
He promised his girlfriend they'd eat together in 5 minutes right before this. Okay.
Your refusal to kind of onboard that as the new idea is a classic libtard cognitive dissonance or small person tantrum.
Somebody's being libtarded.
Oh, good though. Boom. I have this idea. I really don't want to let go. I'm wrong. I'm not wrong though. I'm not gonna tell you why, but I'm not wrong though. I think that's just Brendan. You could take a new idea and put it into your machine to update. Hey, burning cars is bad. Brave thing. I mean, I'm confused. Okay. Take for example.
Yeah.
Take for example.
Okay.
Well, let's just say the argument. I mean, this is just shifting. That's good. Just good, because this is called goalposting.
Would you say that torching an empty building isn't a form of political violence then? Well, I think political violence makes it sound different, like you're qualifying it even more. But I don't know. I don't feel that strong about this. I don't know, but...
Guys, people that are from the right call me a libtard, by the way.
There's the night sun, so clearly they are tracking this person from above, and frankly, having those lights.
Pulling in?
Yeah,
Pulling
are we at home now?
You always wonder why a driver in a pursuit makes a stop pulling into the alleyway parking area, which looks to be like a parking spot for a garage or a home. There we go.
Okay.
I mean, GG and this guy. I mean,
yeah, doesn't look like.
Skip ahead to where?
Usain Bolt here sprinting.
I mean, buddy.
Athlete. Now on the
brother, they're just fucking just ask for something for like a beer or something like that. Just fucking take a chiller, man.
Take a chiller, man.
A car swap? Nah, no shot.
No keys there. And okay.
Oh, is that someone's backyard or a business?
You wonder.
Oh, someone's backyard.
Is this?
Well, that's a hoarder. What the fuck?
Does he know where he's going, or did they just happen to have a gateway open?
Yo, what the fuck is his backyard, brother?
How far forward do I need to skip?
Lock your doors because you don't know if this person is dangerous, like with a weapon or not. You're hearing that the person went inside, so that makes you wonder, did
like
they
3
know
minutes.
whose home this is?
Okay, 518. Let's try 521.
Real shit or not?
Uh-oh. He's back on screen.
Just saying, you're not.
You ain't.
Buying your way is everything. Anyway. Like I said, I don't know how this has anything to do with violence. Like I think it has to do. Like I said, I think it's like more of a retreat. I mean, he's baiting and checking. You know he's wrong. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Ooh.
Brother, it's simple. Every time it went back to what I said, you change the subject.
Ooh, baiting because he
gullible.
knows he's wrong.
Hold on. Let me call this dumbass because he's rage baiting. Then I'm gonna ban him so I can go to bed.
Okie
3
dokie.
minutes.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, it's okay. Because this guy watches this the other time, he thinks he's like Destiny. He kid the bait lord. No sleep 3 days, brother. I still win this. Okay.
He's got this.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute.
To make your point about not other shit than what is currently tweeted and discussed. Challenge impossible.
Good luck. 1 minute.
I don't agree to those terms. I want to actually discuss the substance of the issue, and I don't want to discuss the issue if it's something that, or if it's condensed into what you feel comfortable with discussing.
Oh no. Okay, I mean then yeah, I mean. It's gonna be like a semantics debate.
Semantics, Andy.
No, it's not gonna be a semantics debate, not at all.
Okay.
I don't think that you understand what you're talking about.
Okay, alright, ready. Let's recap this. Ready? Main tweets, because it's important to remember. You can ignore the whole chain of tweets and be like, this is dumb, and be kind of like a what do you would call a libtard, but it's all good, right? Or you can just follow this chain of tweets, right? Boom. Article says must leave politics, right? And then you look at it, you start attacking from the left, and then you read it. Bang.
Read it honestly and read like what the article says.
Well, I mean, okay.
So the volume difference here. Are we serious right now? Are we serious?
So leave politics because he's tired of attacks. So if you click into the article,
I'll GPT it.
Okay. Using technology.
Just read it. Look for attacks or like Control F attacks maybe.
Yo, make our resume on this.
So yeah, how are you gonna compare me to? How are you gonna say I'm a Destiny viewer and
No,
immediately
stop.
open Notepad the second that you start talking to me, bro? Like,
Buddy. Okay.
Summarize it.
Ooh, she's mad. Uh-oh.
Why am I debating AI?
Well, I mean, you're not. I'm just making a recap so that you know what the chain of events is.
Okay.
Okay. Boom. Right. You see it? So.
No, just go to the article and Control F attacks.
No. I think it's a.
Read it with your own eyes. Holy shit.
Oh my god. So AI can't see, like, it's gonna be a semantics battle. The grand line is
what does the AI say?
Okay, see, like I said, I knew this would be a semantics battle. I called you out.
Semantics.
Like I said, it's a semantics battle because it's a simple concept. The grand line is all the shit is too much. Bro says, let's be honest, he was probably feeling like a soy boy, but oh my god, dude, oh my god, and then he was like, oh, I'm gonna quit. He has absolutely no intention of quitting. Let's keep it going.
Damn, he just destroyed you, dude. I don't know what the fuck he said, but he destroyed you.
Right. So then that happens, right? Okay. That's the main point. That's the main kind of the grand line here.
We got him. Okay.
I have a question for you.
Then Hassan, hold on. No. It's important to have a resume so we can continue. I'll give you my mindset.
You're resuming the article, not like my position.
No.
So
but no. Your position is based on my tweet though.
Go to the summary. Go to the summary of the article and look for the part where he describes leaving Tesla or leaving the government because of arson or because of firebombing or because of any. Do you see that? I don't see that.
Ooh.
I don't think he actually made that statement at all.
What? I mean, that's bro. You cannot convince me this is not a semantics battle. There's no shot. There's no shot that
it's your position that he's leaving the government
I don't believe that you as a human.
Fire bombings. then
There
like,
is
would've-
no, I don't believe that you as a human are computing that all after everything that's been happening in the social climate, right? That the shit that Tesla's dealing with wouldn't be part of his reason why he doesn't want to deal with this shit. There is, you would have to convince me, but you may have to torture me to be able to convince me of that you don't think that is probably one of the main points in that mindset.
Right.
You really think that all the Tesla shit isn't the reason why he would be making a comment like that?
I mean, the article uses his words. He says it himself.
Debate
and
tactics.
He says nothing about the fire bombings, and he says nothing about.
Did
the
you see
vandalism,
this
he says
website?
Nothing about anything.
Okay,
having to do with that.
so basically-
it has to do with exactly.
Okay, I
what
understand
is
it.
listed on your.
So
AI
you're a
site.
face value Andy. You see
Ooh,
something,
a
it's what it
face
means.
value
If it's the guy from the
Andy.
right, from the left, there's a deeper meaning, and it's more complicated, and you don't understand it.
Oh,
right?
no.
Because this clearly, right? It's not something that he would be saying, right? Not to give them power and make them feel empowered, so that they continue or do it more because it's working. It's not like he's gonna saying it in a way that isn't gonna fuel dumb fuck to do shit like that.
Ooh.
No way that he would do that, right? That's
Did
insane.
Did you look at that earnings report at all?
Uh-oh.
The earnings report, I mean, yeah, Tesla is down in a few EU places or whatever, but I'm confused. See,
Let's go
They're
again,
down everywhere. They're down like
okay, wait.
75%. Fairly certain in Q1.
Okay.
Okay, well, so?
How does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, do you think that's just because
it's a
he's been
huge
political?
brand risk. Like, obviously, the vast majority of people who are actually purchasing Teslas are going to be your typical libtards, because there are people who are actually like concerned about the environment. They're buying EVs and all that shit, right?
I disagree. That's just wrong.
What?
When you
How can you
completely
disagree
piss
with
off,
that?
like your entire consumer base, of course it's going to negatively reflect on your company. It's what that brand damage part of the AI stuff is.
So then just, I mean, if people are gonna be mean and stop buying, then bomb the place. Then that's pretty much what you're saying.
He's not talking about bombing. He's talking
What
about
I'm
where the
saying is
pressure is coming from.
It's down
repeat
anyway.
myself?
It's down. It's going in bad ways. Just might as well fucking bomb it. I mean, there's no. What else are we gonna do about it?
What the fuck?
I'm just saying.
I'm saying at all.
Well, I mean, that's what I said because this is about that only.
Okay, then
It's
that's
the-
your position, but it's not my position. So how about you engage with what I'm saying instead
Well,
of...
how? Why do you
schizo
engage?
voices
Why?
in your
Why
head?
do you reply to a position by saying it's not my position? No. You don't commented on my position. I'm in a firm position of violence is bad.
I'm giving
Firebombing
you my
doesn't do
wait,
shit,
hold
and then
up,
you
hold up. I
impose
think
your
you're
shit.
misunderstanding. Wait. I'm giving you my position, broadly speaking, in response to that article, so we can lay the groundwork like we were originally trying to.
No. Okay.
No,
so
no,
the
no.
groundwork is that
No.
is absolutely 100% one of the main reasons. Was a top 3 why you would make a comment like that, right? Even though he didn't say per se whatever. Let's be honest. If you give a lot of people leeway on either side or whatever, right? So like what they actually mean, you could see why that would be a thing, right? It's just shit for everybody. It's not worth it. You're kind of feeling insecure, probably makes a comment like that, right? It's just like some soy pass, probably not gonna quit, but still, right? But then the main reason behind all this, why this happened,
Okay.
is that Hassan decided, all
Hassan?
these things is just, it's just the voices, guys. It's just,
No, he didn't say
it's
so.
just what people do. No.
You think
Absolutely
Elon
not.
would have stepped down
That
if
is
there were
such
no
a-
firebombs? Oh, 100%. Typically, like, you just don't want to get involved in politics as a business person. Even for streamers, I would say that. You just don't usually, politics just divide your audience for no reason. It just gets a lot of people really mad at you. They're very touchy issues. It's just not a very good thing to be involved in. And I see, okay, because Hassan tweeted, yeah.
But that is such an absolute dog shit, defeatist, cringe. There's nothing good about that. I don't understand how you could say, oh, all these bad things, all these really these people like that destruction, fucking. That's the voices, guys. That's just them talking. No, dude. There's forums. There's places to protest properly. There's a way to voice your opinion. There's a way to promote your opinion without resulting to violence. That's it. It doesn't go any further than that. It starts there and it ends there. It doesn't have to go anywhere. Anywhere you're gonna go from here is just an incorrect interpretation of what I said.
Okay, then what did you say? What's your position?
That's it. Voice your opinion like an adult. Raise your voice, right? And you can label that as your voice.
What's your official stance on people setting Tesla dealerships on fire? Make sure nobody's inside so you don't hurt anybody.
Protest within the confines of the law, whatever. That's your voice. When you
So
start,
you and Hassan agree. Because I don't think he's held any other position than that. He hasn't advocated for firebombing anyone. As much as I hate Hassan, you know how much I hate Hassan. He hasn't actually advocated for firebombing shit.
Again, now you're just misconstruing the reason why he feels this way. Again, now we're going back to semantics. Guys, it's not firebombers that make him do that. No. You think that if people protested and said it...
You both actually... Wait. I'm not trying to do a semantic argument. I'm just saying you both share the same opinion. So it's like just weird to me that
No, we
you
don't.
like, quote,
We do
retweet
not.
this.
Absolutely not.
Especially
Hassan has
considering-
never agreed to that. I disagree. Sorry to cut you off, but Hassan has never agreed ever that violence is a bad means. Bro, he loves that shit. Bro, he platformed this guy, this terrorist on his stream, whatever, right?
Yes,
these guys parade that shit like it's a victory.
I know. But we're not talking about that. We're talking specifically
But
about this article and about the people dissenting
Okay,
towards Iran,
I understand,
right?
sir,
So
but
you guys
you're
both hold
missing the
that
point.
position.
No, that he cannot have that position when he does stuff like that. It is not his position. Violence as a means to an end is bad, is not his position. That's my position. He doesn't think that. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not gonna say fuck us off of that. But genuinely, his position is not that violence is just a means to an end, and that's a good thing. Nope, not his position. If he was out there, he wouldn't even agree with that.
I think that that might be true very broadly from like an ideological perspective, but I don't believe that that is his position specifically towards the Tesla firebombing.
And that's why the left lost and will continue to lose. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's why the Dems are going absolutely nowhere, because guys, we were so firm about this, but not this time. Guys, we stand on business. These are our morals and everything, but not here though. Not there though. Not this right here. Not this time, because that's complicated, dude. It's flip floppy, and it leaves
Not
everybody
flip-floppy.
confused, and people leave. That's just can't. That is one of the main point why all that is currently going on the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
Got
Now
him.
Engage with what I said.
Ooh.
Well, I just did it. Like I said, I think.
No, you're talking about like the left super broadly. I'm saying specifically Hassan, while he may share a ideological perspective that we might not agree with, whenever it specifically comes to what he's talking about with the firebombing of Tesla.
I'll explain it. Because
it has nothing to do with the.
He's gonna explain. Chill.
Because
He's
he is
got
what we
you,
call
dude.
he is piggybacking, right? The results of violent acts and labeling it as the voice of the people. That is not the voice. That's mental retardation, sir. Going and doing arson is not the voice. That's mental retardation, sir. You understand that?
Yeah, probably. I think we would agree on that. But I don't believe that that's the position that Hassan holds, and I don't think that he would contradict me.
Okay, no. But missing the point though. So that's why I tweeted that. Because I don't like when people claim the
Is
victory.
Hassan more based
It's like-
than XQC in this combo too? He isn't endorsing violence. It's just saying keep pressuring Musk. Well, you know, there's a whole bunch of reasons why having a huge business and engaging in politics leads to a massive conflict of interest. And maybe it's worth understanding that, because apparently Republicans have all forgotten this. So we think of the really obvious conflict of interest, such as somebody doing like a corrupt action in order to curry favor with his business, or he's, you know, putting his business before the United States in a very obvious way, like to make money. However, isn't this also kind of an example of why you don't want people to have these you don't want people to have these huge financial interests that they haven't divested from in office? What if it was the case that Doge was doing great work, but we also happen to know that 50% of this guy's net worth is tied up with a business that we can boycott? Isn't that kind of weird that you can, quote unquote, boycott a politician? Well, in Elon Musk's case, it would be an unelected bureaucrat, more specifically, not a politician. But maybe it's just not good to be so financially exposed, I guess, in such an obvious way, if you also want to play politics, right? Maybe that's maybe that's a bad idea. Oh, you know, maybe not.
If you're playing a game of CS, okay, and the guy wins last round because he gets a headshot off of long, and he had a cheater the whole game that was rage botting the whole squad, and he says, guys, the efforts of the guy who pushed long. Oh man, guys, the guy who pushed long with the op, what a chad. No, you're piggybacking the results of the cheater with your dumb shit, labeling it as something that it's not. And that's just, that is something that it's just a cringe behavior. And when it involves violence, it's a double-double. I mean, of course,
double.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, like, I think it's pretty obvious if you look into the article, and if you even look at like your AI summary of the article, Elon does not mention the Tesla's burning at all having to do with the reason why he's stepping down from government. On top of that, I don't know if it's your... Wait, actually, I need to ask you a question here. Do you think that the majority of people are protesting against Tesla or firebombing Teslas? What do you think is more?
Huh?
What do you think is more likely? Do you think more people are protesting like peacefully, or do you think more people are firebombing Teslas?
I mean,
brother,
right?
Do the thing.
Just answer the question.
Do the thing.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious question.
Okay. So, I'm gonna resume this in a pretty
aggressive
you
way.
You have to let me speak for like 20 seconds,
okay.
right? So
I just need you to answer the question with one or the other, really.
Even though
I don't need you to speak at all.
Minority, it's a minority of people that are being violent. It's a minority, right?
Yes.
When the minority in number of instances and the raw numbers is becoming overwhelming, it will cause some form of change, some form of reaction. It's just what it is.
Okay, so what it sounds like to me that you're saying is that, like, in this hypothetical scenario that I've created in my mind where this suddenly slips out of control, this is the case. But I'm talking about as of right now, what is the case? Is there more people that are firebombing Teslas or protesting Teslas?
Oh man, he's so pressed. Why is Why is bro so pressed right now?
What does that have to do with anything? You're just this is like a classic, like, I'm gonna corner you into a way to make you say something that makes me look like I'm winning the argument. Bro, in every protest, most of them, grand majority, it's always the minority.
You can't answer the question.
It is the minority that causes the bad things. It's the minority that are doing arson. What about it? What does that do with anything?
Perfect. Yes.
So it is the vast minority. Very little.
I fucking busted. Thank you. Though if the minority of people are the people who are committing the arson, you can, in fact, just say arson is bad, but also arson is probably not the reason why Elon is stepping away from the government. The reason why he's stepping away from the government we can actually get into if you're curious, but it is absolutely fucking not.
So all these things are like 2, 3, 4, 5 folds past the main argument.
Did you know that? But you guys didn't realize that.
Like you failed. You failed to attack the initial, the only point of contention that I have. That you're going way past it. You're going to like.
You're going way past it, brother.
But this and they cause that. I don't give a shit. You're not gonna say it's the voice of the people when people are bombing shit. I don't give a fuck. Okay, brother. If you want to become, let's say, I don't fucking know, the mayor of your town, and you're like, man, this shit's been kind of cooked. I'm out of this, right? And you, right? You guys, Parsec wants to become mayor of bullshit town, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And after a lot of people are mean at you, right? Sending you like threats or whatever on Twitter. It's getting a lot, but you're dealing with it, right? And some guy shows up at your rally and shoots at you, right?
Yeah.
If you go, yeah, guys, that's fucking awful. Like, I'm thinking about settling down because I like my town, but it's just not worth it, right? Or would you be okay with me saying, dude, it's one guy. People don't like you. I get it. It's a lot of people, right? But it's just one guy. You got one died. A single instance. One died. You fucking loser.
Hold on. I don't even know what xQc is trying to argue. It sounds like I'm gonna try to summarize xQc's point, but it can't be this point because it feels dumb. It sounds like the argument is, let's say there's a guy we're protesting. That guy's bad. We protest that guy because he's bad. Let's say somebody shows up and they firebomb this dude's house. We would say, okay, well, we're not going to support that guy firebombing the dude's house, but we still think this dude's bad. And it sounds like xQc is saying, well, no, hold on. You can't say that dude's bad while these guys are firebombing his house because now you're piggybacking on their violence. That can't be xQc's position, though, right? I feel like that would be pretty silly, no?
Dude, what a brain dead fucking mindset. What a stupid fucking
What
thought.
is your point?
The point is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
What doesn't matter? What is your point? I don't. Where are you going with this?
Wait. That's the only thing that I'm saying.
Wait, xQc hasn't been like drifting towards like Asmund slot political takes, has he? That's not like happening, is it?
Don't call it the voice of the people when it's the fucking terrorism of the fucking mental retarded dumb fucks. Don't piggyback the terrorists as a win for you as the voice of the people. It's cringe.
Sure. Yeah, we would agree on that.
That's it. Then GG. Then I mean that's it. That's what the tweet says. The tweet.
It's not what your tweet says. Your tweet.
The tweet says voices. That's it. The tweet says voices.
Your tweet is implying that the voices are the voices that are making Elon step down from government, which just isn't the case.
No, it's irony. It's kind of like I was saying, oh yeah, the voice is surely.
It wasn't ironic whenever you argued with me under the thread, like for half an hour. It wasn't ironic at all.
Okay, so let's say Trump said, man, I might drop out of the candidate race, right? A couple months ago, right? After he got shot at, right? And people said the voices. Would you agree if I said the voices like that? And I showed him getting shot at?
What?
Sorry, repeat your question.
If we replace the blocks around, we move them around, just like the argument I just made, right? If Hassan said, guys, don't let your voice matter or whatever, right? Like he said it, right? But instead, it was Trump saying, I might drop out of the candidacy, right? Because I got shot at, and he typed the voices, and I did the same thing. I made the same tweet about voices, but instead, I put Trump getting shot as the image.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-to-one.
It's maybe a one-to-one. I mean, you could make the comparison if you want, but again, it has nothing to do with like my argument or my point.
I'm confused. Why not? Why
I'm
not?
just kind of like because you're talking past me. You're talking past me, and you're like making a larger ideological argument when that's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah, but you go past the point, though. The point is just this. That's it.
I'm not going past the point. You're talking past the point, and I'm trying to engage with the actual facts. There's evidence.
Okay, understood.
There's speeches.
So you disagree?
Elon has said it himself.
So you
There's
think
an
that
article. You can literally just look at it. You can look at the AI summary. Like I'm the one engaging with reality, and you're talking past me.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's just go.
Little bro called him delusional.
So you think that the voice of the peaceful overall protest is what is causing him to say that instead of the actual really bad things that are happening? Really? You think that?
No, I
you
don't
think that the social pressure is getting too much for him?
There's a bunch of factors, and the AI
it's
laid
the plummeting
out all
stock
5
price,
of those
bro.
factors for you. It's a bunch of different things.
Okay. Well, like I said,
okay.
I think in general, people feel always it's like they want actions to speak louder than the words, but they give words everything and actions not.
What are we talking about right now? Hello?
Elon's not going to
You just got mad at the actions. We want the words. Remember, we want the protests. We don't want the firebombings.
What do you think the actual reason is? His politics are unpopular, and he's destroying his fucking company's brand. The stock price on the Tesla shit has been slipping so fucking hard. I imagine the owners of that company are probably ultra ass pained.
Words are important.
No, I said that's what you guys. It's kind of like a reverse. Is it another semantics battle? Another semantics hitch, really? Another semantic hitch again.
You just, I mean, you misspoke, and then I.
Well, no, I did not. No. I said for you guys that you guys want actions to be louder than words. I'm just saying that even though he says that, you act like he's gonna quit out and do all that. No, because again,
He got him with the
protests
brutal.
are actions, just like
He got him with the
record,
brutal
they
misspeak.
Are, like, the voice of the people, they are words, but like,
yo,
protest is action.
you
People
know
are
what?
going
You know
out
what?
to
I'm about to go.
protest.
You know, I'm about to go end the stream. I'm about to put BLM. I'm gonna put a bunch of flags on my Twitter icon. Okay, because that's the voice, bro. And bro, I'm gonna change the world with maybe a tweet there, maybe a profile picture there. Boom, that's it. Racism is gone like that. You thought you had racism. We don't anymore. I fixed it, dude. Are you fucking stupid? Like this
Yeah,
like
talking about-
this
I'm
like
talking
boys
about
that people
real
shit so
protest.
fucking cringe. Bro, this is the classic
about real
libtard.
protest.
You think you have
Oh,
power.
no.
Bro, you think you have power. You have none. I hate this shit. People think that, oh dude, actually we can cancel it. We can. Bro, people have no power. None. Zero. People can't even fucking get together and boycott something properly. People have been trying to boycott like Nestle for fucking decades. What? They're on top of the game. They're fucking their wives. Like,
Wasn't the Rosa Parks thing successful because of the? I thought fuck me, dude. I don't remember shit. Didn't they have a big boycott of that thing after everything? Wasn't that one of the reasons why it was destroyed so much? For the bus company, boycotts. Oh, the Bud Light got hurt a little bit. Target is falling apart from boycotts. I mean, boycotts can work. Nestle's hard because it's a massive fucking company, though, and there are so many different products. It's pretty easy to boycott Tesla. I would argue something like that that's highly substitutable. You can get a different electric car, and very narrow in terms of the products they have. It's just Tesla automobiles. It's pretty easy to boycott. Nestle is like fucking. Your socks might be made by fucking Nestle, you know?
what are you talking about? The voice of the people.
I mean, whenever
what
liberals,
is that?
when
What does that mean? The voice of the
liberals
people.
try
The
to
voice
take
of what?
when liberals try to take power by firebombing places, I mean, you hate it. So I don't know, man.
Who
Dude.
got him?
Okay, checkmate. That's it. I'm gonna. I mean,
so-
well, I mean, you're dumb. You're
so triggered?
Subject-mate. You want get it? It's all
I was
good.
joking.
Whoa.
Well, that's subject-mate.
your
Yeah, because
position-
that's
your
not the
position
voice.
is absurd.
That is not a voice.
He triggered.
That's not a voice. You are not voicing anything. You're throwing a
triggered.
tantrum.
Oof.
Okay. If you reverse the roles, if you really think
These
about it,
protests have power. These protests have power, and you just sitting here and like trying to pretend that they don't is ridiculous.
Okay.
Obviously, the voice of the people matters. Obviously, these protests are working, or else he wouldn't be stepping down from government. And he also, the entire company is down 71%
Wait, is
in
he-
Q1.
is he-
I-
is
like,
he-
this
is he
is
stepping
this
down?
is
Is he
having
stepping down?
huge impacts.
Ooh.
Okay.
You got him.
Let me ask you this:
Uh-oh.
who can afford to lose this amount of money the most? The guy who has an art, or who has some unfinished art degree in the parking lot with his cardboard sign. All the guy,
hope he
hold
loses
on.
it all.
All the
I hope Elon
employees
loses it
that
all.
are working
It's Mr.
paycheck to
Elon,
paycheck
yeah.
at the
Yeah,
factory.
it's
all
Elon.
these
It's
guys,
Elon. It's not your middle class worker. Yeah,
hold
we
on.
agree.
Or can Elon afford to lose all that?
Yeah, Elon can probably afford it.
Seems
What's
to
your point?
me that
It's so funny because he's stumbled upon the one time where capital is actually more exposed to risk than capital is generally more exposed to risk. This is the argument for why capitalists say, well, no, business owners deserve to be compensated well. Why? Is because if their businesses fail, they're exposed to massive downside risk as a result of that. If Tesla goes bankrupt and you're an engineer, you can find another job. You think people that work for Tesla companies have difficulty finding other work? I seriously doubt that. Yeah, especially given how hard those people work and how much they're overworked. I seriously doubt those people have difficulty finding another job. What do you think would be harder? Finding another job in engineering or rebuilding Tesla? Like if Tesla as a company is destroyed, that's a much more difficult thing to replace than somebody who works for Tesla to just find another job. Like
the man can afford to do all that. At the end of the day, believe it or not, your tantrums do fucking nothing. And in the end, when all the dust settles, the person who lost the
he's stepping down
most
from a position of power.
is the people.
no.
The people
absolutely do
lose the most.
No.
Genuinely.
No. I don't
Because
think
you think you're doing something. You're doing nothing. Because you're not being effective. in your protesting. You're not being effective in your methods.
He's stepping down.
You want to know?
He's stepping down from a position of power. We won.
You want to know? So, let me show you something that wants to be effective. Some guy who's in fucking business probably wanted to make more money, right? Bankrupt 4 times, Donald Trump, right? Let's be honest. Probably want to make more money. You want to be effective. Became president. Boom. That's effectiveness. He infiltrated from business to politics, went all the way to the top, and now controls shit. That's effective. Now you're tantrum. Oh my God!
I'm gonna need to stop you there.
Not the Tesla guys. I'm gonna firebomb the parking lot.
Wait. Question.
He's so mad.
Can I ask a question?
Wait, go ahead.
Why do you think Trump is a good businessman?
I don't know enough about business. He's a good one.
Ooh.
I'm saying he's
sounds like
primarily.
you just accepted something to be true with no evidence.
Oh my God. I said he's primarily as his main income, as his main venture. He's a business person. You can be a shit fucking car salesman. You can sell 0 cars. You're still a car salesman.
Do you know how many times he's bankrupted?
You are still a car salesman, sir.
Do you know how many casinos he's bankrupted? Casinos?
I might be a shit
casinos that are
I might be the shittiest streamer.
Never bankrupt.
But I'm a streamer, right? You give me that or not?
Trump's entire persona is that he.
Trump's persona is not that he's a businessman. Trump's persona is that he's a good businessman. I don't know what the weird point xQc is trying to make here.
Was a TV personality and his entire career
got
got saved by awful drama.
You know what?
And the only money that he's made, the only reason he's a billionaire right now is because he's scammed the entire American population. And because he's scammed all of his followers with a fucking meme coin. That's the only reason he's a billionaire.
I surrendered the argument then. I agree then I will call him more than an entertainer. He is more of an entertainer.
There we go. And do you want an entertainer leading your country, or do you want someone who's actually qualified
classic
to do it?
Libtard.
Libtard.
You're abandoning the fact.
Don't say I bring Trump up.
You got libtarded.
You're abandoning
libtard.
I did not bring Trump up.
You bring Trump
up. Are you gonna let him talk? You libtard.
I know what you're doing. You're trying to say that classic libtard thing. Classic libtard thing where you have Trump derangement syndrome, even though I'm not the one who actually brought his name up.
You missed the point.
You missed the point, libtard.
This is not the point. I surrendered the argument.
Okay, what's the classic libtard?
He's an entertainer then, right? What I meant by that is that as a primary entertainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came from doing all of that, whatever that is, entertainment, whatever, failed business, whatever, right? Went to politics and actually succeeded at being effective in his goals.
Well, he won an election, to be clear. Now, does that make him successful at politics? I would argue no. Remember, politics is the art of practicing politics, meaning you are effectively using your power to effectuate change. And it seems like he's having a big or he's having much difficulty doing that. But I mean, if you're saying he was successful just because he got elected, I mean, I guess you could say that, but that's not really anybody's goal. You get elected. Being elected is step one. You do that so that you can do other things, not just you can get elected and do nothing. But
you want to change it, even though you don't align with what he wants to change, right? I don't probably don't align with most of the things that he changed, right? But that's what he wanted to do, and he was effective into doing that and making that happen, right? Now tell me, now tell me that he wasn't effective at reaching his goals and going to where places he wanted to be. Tell me, explain to me how he wasn't effective.
Name literally anything that he's done in the last 4 years or in this administration that you think has been effective.
He did something that the libs didn't do for 4 years and won't be able to do ever again, is getting the public on their side and winning the election, bub. That's what it is.
So
I don't even agree with most of the politics, right? He did what the other people couldn't do. Win. That's it. That's being effective. That's winning. That's what I meant by that. It's not some I agree or not. It's being effective. You understand? If his goal was to enrich himself.
What happened?
I don't care. Let's say he wanted to be president to scam everybody like a scammer, right? And he
I think he lost in 2020. I don't think that's effective.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Ooh, we got.
Brother, I know you have a tank the size of your room of copium injected in most of your fucking arteries right now with that copium. But he lost 4 years ago. Oh my god, brother, is absolutely no shot. You just said that.
I mean, he did, no?
I mean, you're trying to argue that he's effective because he won an election. I'm
yes.
telling you that he lost an election in 2020.
That is incredibly effective. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. let's
Did
go.
he- wait,
let's
did-
go. Let's
did
go.
you-
Let's
did
go.
you-
Let's go off the
Can I
rails.
ask you a
Let's
question?
say. Let's say.
Did he win? Wait, did Biden win the 2020 election?
You done?
Yes or no?
You done?
Yes or no?
You done?
Yes or no?
I don't know what you just said. I wasn't. What?
Did Biden win the 2020 election? Was it legitimate? Was it a legitimate win for Biden?
Of course he won. What?
Or-
Who says there was the opposite?
Okay. And if your position is that if someone is politically effective because they win, he lost 2020, so I think that makes your point invalid.
Oh wow, you're missing the point entirely.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying,
Wow.
as a general, it's entry level thoughts, right?
These are entry-level
If
guys.
the man wanted to do, for whatever reason, had to be president to do whatever he wanted to do, right? He's being effective. Do we agree with this or not?
Just so you guys know, these are
If I want to
entry-level
scam
thoughts.
every citizen
okay?
in it, I'm mad at it.
I don't think that analyzing somebody's political effectiveness through the lens of like whether or not they won an election is it's completely irrelevant. I'm talking about like what he actually did as president. I don't think you can name me a single thing that he actually did after winning the election.
I don't give a
that
shit.
you could possibly. There's nothing you can name because he did nothing.
Bro,
fuck you, bro.
You are losing an uphill battle in that
True.
sense.
He lost the plot.
Because it doesn't matter what he does. Imagine if the guy, his
It matters that
only
he owned
goal-
the
Let's
libs.
say he sat down and said, yo, listen, I want to be a supervillain, right? And his only goal is to fuck everybody over. And the way to do that is by becoming president. The guy's being effective. Otherwise, tell me that, I don't know, I'm not going to say it. But it's all good.
What?
I don't want to get unhinged, but there are other ways that people were effective, whether you agree with them or not, right? At achieving their goals, however nefarious. False or true?
Mm-hmm. True.
Though, regardless, they're being effective at reaching their goal.
I think that the only thing that Trump was effective at whenever it came to his
Is becoming
presidency
president.
was lining his own pockets. Is lining his own
Yeah, I mean, on God.
Riches himself.
I agree.
You agree that that's the only thing he was effective at? Is lining his own pockets?
I don't
agree
care.
there?
I don't care why he does it. I don't care if I like it, right? It's still effective. It doesn't. What? The argument stops over there. I don't give a fuck.
Damn.
It's effective. Wait, so in your eyes, effective just means like self-serving? Because I'm talking about like politically effective, right?
Oh my God.
That's not mad.
Oh
This
no, bro! This
cuck
isn't a
gets.
debate of who's the best president in the United States in the fucking since its creation.
Yeah, I know. We got derailed off of that like 10 minutes ago whenever you brought up Trump because you cannot get him off your brain. I know.
Ooh.
I don't believe. I feel like you've kind of lost the track, and every argument fell flat, and you're like going in circles about semantics. Like it's the only thing you can do.
Okay, that is ironic. I don't think that there's been a single question that I've
Brother.
asked you that you haven't either
Brother.
like not answered or like delved into like
The
this. fucking
goalpost
semantic
factory
bullshit
ran out
about
of
something
steel,
else.
buddy. They got that, bro. They got no more mats to fucking make these fucking goalposts. You put them all. They ran out of stock, bub. Like holy shit.
Yeah. What do you think? Actually, you know what?
Okay,
I'll let you have that one.
Okay, you know,
I'll let you have that.
as an exit, then you think genuinely, right? That it is the voice of the people. It is them saying, "I don't like this," that would be causing any of all that or things to happen. Just
The voice of the people overwhelmingly, in my eyes, means the protest of the people and not the minority of people who are committing crimes. Yes.
Okay. So what happened when the people thought the Dems were gonna win?
What the fuck are we talking about?
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. You say the voice of the people. The voice of the people always say the voice of the people. The grand majority. The people do this. The people do that. Right? And then
There can be more than one
when it's time to
group of
get
people in the United
when it's
States.
time to
There
get shit
are
done and put it into stats
different
and
groups.
get down to it, what happens then? It falls flat.
Yeah. So I guess if you just like lose one time, then you just become politically ineffective for the rest.
Based. Wait, real quick. Am I supposed to fucking I use artillery to defend my Glebo planet? Is that real? So what, I have to ship in fucking shells and everything?
Rest of history, and you should just never protest again, never like make your voice heard, never do anything other than just sit there and
always make your voice heard. It is
like,
the only thing that you have. It is the most effective thing that you
Yes.
have. But when
Cringe.
you throw shit,
you
when
should
throw,
never
when you
let
throw
someone
a
tell you that your voice
No,
doesn't
use Tesla
matter, right?
towers.
a single tantrum will literally trump and invalidate thousands on thousands of real adult voices that fight for good. A singular instance of some fucking fuckery will
Fucking
invalidate
fuckery.
vast amount of people. And your failure to understand this is ridiculous. It is the most
Okay, so,
trivial.
wait.
It is the main
wait.
point of attack of all the mainstream media when attacking their opponents. Is it singling out the one bad guy and saying, look what they do.
We're getting a little pointed. We're getting a little pointed. Let's just maybe see if we can just agree on like a larger ideological position. Would you agree that you should just like? Would you agree that maybe we should just like let people protest, right? Like, and if
Absolutely.
people are
Fuck.
protesting.
Oh fuck no, hell no. What the fuck
don't
is
let
that?
So people don't let people protest is your position?
Not if whenever they protest, right? You piggyback the bad ones as, yo guys, they're being effective, guys. Like what a stupid fucking thing. You can do all of that. You can
Stupid
I will
fucking
literally
thing.
be behind you and say the protests were actually effective. Good job, guys. But when you piggyback these guys and you try to claim the win,
I
you
haven't
are
built a
ridiculous.
Spider-Tron
You're
yet.
way out of your depth. You sound stupid.
My
You're
God.
an infant. You are a tantruming
infant.
small person. You are a small person. Because whenever you
tantruming.
don't get shit your way,
Ooh.
I need to break things or whatever. Real adults that want to cause change actually go out and cause change.
Yeah.
That's it.
By protesting. How else do you think that they're gonna cause the
mad.
change
Oh,
if
man.
not by making their voices heard through
Let you see
protests?
hell
I'm
in
just
that.
saying.
Are they just
Your
gonna,
voice
like, go out
isn't
on,
fire.
and like scream it
Your
up
voice
into the air?
isn't fire.
How else would you effectively do this other than protest? And when I say protest, I mean peaceful protests, not the firebombing of Tesla factories.
Can you say that again? I was still locked onto my own. I had this argument that's gonna cook you, but it was gonna go too far because it was gonna be some actual good.
Sure.
What? Okay.
Whenever I say protest, I'm talking about peaceful protest. Okay?
Mostly
How
or not?
else are
Mostly or
people
not?
supposed-
Because I've seen the mostly ones, but mostly or not?
Mostly peaceful. Oh man.
The peaceful ones or the mostly peaceful ones? Because there's two different kinds. Sorry.
Yes, the mostly peaceful ones.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ, that's wild. I mean, then I don't agree anymore then.
Okay. Alright, man. Well,
I've said it
you should
before and
go-
I'll say it
you should
again.
go eat.
I will say it before, I'll say it again, ready? It is your duty as a protester to police your own people and tell them to stay in line when they do the dumbest shit out there. Not join them, ignore them, or piggyback their wins. I don't. If you're in a protest and some guys are looting some
think
shit,
that
you
firebombing
should
Teslas is
police your
bad.
people and say, guys,
I
don't
think-
do this shit.
I think that firebombing Teslas is bad. I don't think people should go
And
out
how
and
many
shoot
times
Teslas. I
has
don't
Hassan
think
been-
that people should firebomb Teslas.
And how many times has Hassan ever voiced his concern or his care for these dumb fucks doing this shit? How many times?
Today on stream, I watched the intro and he specifically said,
Whoa!
I don't advocate for people doing this.
What?
You could
Actively
go and
watching
watch the VOD
Hassan?
right now.
Which
He
chatter
holds
is
the
this
same
again?
position.
Surely that was added his kind of his good heart, and not to make his next argument or his next few words be, let's be honest, piggybacking that shit, right?
Piggybacking that shit.
Right.
No, I would take what he says. Maybe not at face value, because it is Hassan, let's be honest here. But, I mean, if he says something and that's his position, who am I to say any different? Right?
So doing that, denouncing that, voicing that when it happens, right? Actually properly, right? If you do that, and you do the up, and then you do the bad, so whatever. You know what? I will say, you know what? He calls both of them out. That's what I try to do, right? But they don't. He doesn't do that. He's kind of like a little bit like the
Two sides Andy.
Oh wow, yo little kid.
Why don't we use Andy as much anymore?
The 2+2 right there, 4. That was really good. Good job. But everything else, you're a fucking bitch ass. You suck. Quit mathematics. You're a dumb fuck. Yo, quit school. You fucking bitch. You loser bitch.
Damn.
But guys, I said something good about what he did. So, I mean, I get to fucking cook his ass about all the bad stuff. Like, fuck off, dude. Like, what a ridiculous fucking dialogue.
You want to know why that's real ironic?
Fuck off.
I did not see a single post on main, retweet, quote, retweet, anything. I didn't see anything from you about January 6th when it happened, which was the same, if not worse, political violence, but just done on the other side. But ever since we started this weird conservative grift that we have going on, we can't call out the other side. So I'm really rich that you won't call out January 6th on your timeline, but every single time
brother,
we will
January 6th,
and then we claim to be a centrist and we claim to be a fence sitter, but we only focus on the one side. And January 6th was 100% worse than anything that has ever happened to Tesla in its fucking history. I guarantee you.
This is a pretty classic example of
Destiny.
Hey guys. Oh, but what
you
about?
You just critiqued this exact same thing. Don't.
Oh, what about
Don't spin around in this, because if it's bad for Hassan, it's bad for you too.
Ooh.
You can't stay ideologically consistent.
Brother,
go back and look at every time I've addressed
brother.
It literally said it. It is a mass hysteria. It is genuinely mental retardation, unprecedented. And I have said multiple times, bro. You want me to make this like my Twitter background? Oh, I forgot. You're the worst of the people, dude. I forgot to change my profile picture to a picture of a anti January 6th. Don't do that.
To?
Change your guys.
Who is he talking to? Are you talking to me?
Are
you talking to your chat?
Guys, when the guns and the bums don't work, chat. Good. Hey, back to the old reliable chat. Profile picture. Okay. Change. Hey. Your name? No.
How is xQc making fun of both?
Change your Twitter name to all the other cool stuff that's currently trendy or whatever. Be virtuous. That saves the world. That's effective right there.
So you're telling me I can't do profile pictures or firebomb? What else are we supposed to do?
Right?
If you want to critique Hassan for not criticizing the left for doing absolutely insane shit, I would 100% agree with you. But the problem is that you cannot throw stones from glass houses, because every single time that any conservative does some really stupid shit, or every time the Conservative Party does some really stupid shit like January 6th, you just do not
So now this is about me being
inconsistent.
So now this is about me being inconsistent and not about
I'm saying you can't make that criticism of Hassan if you do the exact same shit yourself. I think it's
Ooh, brother.
I criticize what Hassan said.
No, you criticized your idea of what you think Hassan meant by what he said.
I quote tweeted him, and I criticized what he said. I didn't criticize him.
You said voices and then put a photo of a burning Tesla, saying that like he thinks that burning Teslas are the voice of the people instead of the majority peaceful protests that have been happening across the country that have actually been the reason why Elon Musk is stepping down from the government.
Got him. I think. I have no idea. But he got him.
BTFO'd.
Oh, BTF!
Let me guess. This is another libtard slang for when they claim a win, but the win is actually fucking nothing, and it doesn't get anything done.
He said BTFO'd.
Lonely, losers, and, let's keep it a buck, losing the election.
Yeah, well, you just got owned by a fucking libtard, buddy, so that's
owned by a libtard!
Voice again.
Oh my god! I need the Vine boom so bad, fuck.
Now listen, I've been investing into copium because, listen, the word on the street is, in 4 years, right, when the Dems lose again because of these mindsets, right, and they gasp, the only saving grace will be the copium that they will have left to inhale. But I will own all the stock and I will sell it at a profit, because you guys will need a fuck ton of copium when you lose again to these dumbass, brain-dead mindsets that you guys parade on social media.
Okay, well, thanks for the conversation. I'm happy to do it again anytime. I think you should go eat with Aiko. I'm sure she's very hungry. Now, you should walk out that door, and then on the way out, you know what I want you to do? You know what I want you to do? I want you to do the worm. Do the worm! Do the worm, do the...
Brother. Oof. Is he not gonna go out to eat?
Chat. Listen, I don't mean to toot my horn, chat. I cooked. What do you think?
I think I only heard your side of the argument, so you definitely won.
Wow.
That's right.
Simp.
But my question is, are you trying to say that you're against firebombing cars? Because
Well, I mean,
car bombs.
Oh no. Is she gonna be an ultra lefty libtarded person that's about to drive xQc fucking crazy? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I kind of thought were your thing.
Don't stop. Stop it there. You're don't.
You're
gonna get canceled. You're gonna get canceled.
I'm not getting canceled. I'm not even anybody.
I said last time that killing people with guns in the streets, if they are a CEO, is a bad thing, and I almost got canceled. And there again, okay? People do not agree that violence is bad. They don't agree. I'm not just saying that like as a. People don't agree.
Are you trying to say vigilantism isn't good because then it gives power to people thinking that they're going to make the right decisions without having any checks and balances?
Well, you know that.
Oh wait, this person's like moderately intelligent. Wait, who the fuck is this?
Go there. I just think it's fucking branded.
Yeah, I agree.
Aiko. Oh, is that the one that they joked was her sister for a long time?
Are we gonna eat?
Yeah. Yeah, bye, chat. See you guys tomorrow.
See ya, chat. How does the stream?
I don't think I need to do the worm, but I'll do it tomorrow. You want the worm? I'll do it tomorrow.
You're gonna do the worm?
Tomorrow, though. No, right now.
No,
I'm
but I
gonna
won't get to see it.
Nah, that's
Come
it.
on, just
I'll
a
clip
quick
it.
worm.
I'm too tired. I'm
A quick
sorry.
worm.
I'm too
Oh,
tired.
it's a small worm.
Thanks.
I never get anything.
You want to see a small worm? I mean.
Yeah, I don't get anything.
I
I
got
have to
you.
listen
Good
to an
one.
argument only one side. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So-
What are you?
Why you don't want to see a small worm? I mean,
Oh my God,
I
just
removed the
said that
cam. I
you'd be
mean,
like, whoa,
like what?
sorry, my bad. Whoa, you said small?
All right, brother. I see you, Chelsea.
Wow. Okay, what's next? What else do we have? Who won? I feel like we all kind of lost there because I don't even know what the fuck that debate was supposed to be about. It seemed kind of dumb.